Welcome to Karma Chronicles. Please like the video and subscribe. Let's begin. I woke up to my dad shaking my arm hard enough to leave bruises. "Get up!" Now I blinked, confused. It was pitch black. The house was dead silent except for my parents' urgent whispering. I squinted at my phone. 3 in the damn morning. My heart kicked up, thinking something had happened. A fire, a break-in, maybe a neighbor called about a gas leak. Before I could even sit up, my dad pulled the blanket off me. "Maria, go. Just go outside." Right now, I was in a t-shirt, pajama shorts, and socks. No shoes, no jacket. "Dad, what the hell is going on?" I asked, stumbling to my feet. "Is something wrong? Is it a drill, or—" My mom stood by the door with her arms crossed. She looked cold, not from the weather. Emotionally? "Just go," she said. "Don't ask questions." I didn't move. "Why are you making me?" "Now." My dad shoved my shoes into my arms and opened the front door. "We'll talk later." But they never talked. They pushed me out like I was a stranger and locked the door behind me. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I stood on the porch, freezing, clutching my shoes but too stunned to put them on. My teeth chattered. The air was wet and thick like it had just rained. I kept thinking, okay, maybe it's temporary. Maybe a gas leak inside. Maybe someone's hurt. I waited. I knocked once. Nothing. Then I crept around to the side window, the one that looked into the living room, and that's when I saw her. Mara, my cousin, she was wearing one of my hoodies, sitting cross-legged on the couch with a blanket over her legs and a mug in her hand, like it was just a regular night. She looked cozy, at home, like she belonged there. I stepped back into the shadows. My heart wasn't just pounding. It felt like it dropped out of my chest. Why was she inside and I was out here? Why the hell was Mara moving around like she lived there? I stood in the cold with my fists clenched and my brain going 1,000 miles an hour. Something was off. Something was very off. And I was about to find out just how far they were willing to go. I walked back to the front door and knocked, hard enough to shake it. My hand stung from how cold it was. I waited. I could hear movement inside, footsteps, dishes clinking. I knocked again. "Dad, open up." After a second, the door cracked open. My dad stood there like it was just a normal Tuesday morning. Calm, blank face. He didn't even look tired. "You don't live here anymore," he said. My mouth dropped open. "What?" He held something out toward me, a little plastic bag with my learner's permit and a crumpled $20 bill inside. "I suggest you figure things out, Maria." "Wait, what the hell are you talking about?" I stepped forward, and he blocked the door with his body. "I don't live here anymore? Since when? What did I do?" He didn't answer, just looked past me like I was someone trying to sell him something. "Dad," seriously, my voice cracked, "tell me what's going on. Why is Mara in there? Why am I out here in my pajamas?" "Don't make a scene," he said, still holding the bag out. My mom appeared behind him, her face tight, arms crossed again, like I was an inconvenience, like I was a problem. "Mom?" I asked, stepping toward her. "What did I do? Can someone tell me what the hell is happening?" She didn't blink. "It's done." "That's it? That's all you're gonna say?" "We made a decision," she said. "It's done." I looked past them into the kitchen. Mara was sitting at the table, spooning cereal into her mouth, wearing my hoodie like she didn't have a care in the world. She glanced up, saw me, and looked away like I was the stranger here. I took the plastic bag from my dad's hand. It was warm from his pocket. The 20 felt like an insult. That's what I was worth? A license and $20? Seriously? You're throwing me out with nothing? No explanation? You're not even gonna let me grab my phone? "We'll box up your things," my dad said, and started to close the door. I slammed my palm against it. "Tell me what I did." Neither of them answered. My mom didn't move. My dad stared me down. "It's done," he repeated. Then he shut the door in my face and locked it. I stood there for a second, waiting for the sound of it unlocking, like they'd open it back up and say it was a joke, that this was some kind of wake-up call, not permanent. I was still half asleep, half hoping I'd just startle awake any second in my bed. But nothing happened. Inside, I could hear them moving around again. Mara laughing at something on her phone, a cupboard opening, my parents talking low like they were just settling in for the night. I was still barefoot, still freezing, still standing on the same welcome mat I used to wipe my feet on every day after school. I turned and walked down the driveway, trying to keep my jaw tight, my eyes dry. I didn't want to give them the satisfaction if they were watching from the window. The wind cut through my t-shirt. My socks were soaked from the damp sidewalk. I kept walking anyway. Past the neighbor's house, past the bushes I helped trim last spring, past the mailbox with our family name on it. Our name, but apparently not mine anymore. I made it to the end of the block before I finally stopped. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stood there and tried to figure out where the hell I was supposed to go at 3 in the morning with no shoes, no phone, and no family. One thing was clear. They hadn't kicked me out. They'd replaced me, and they didn't even bother pretending otherwise. I kept walking until the houses started to blur and the cold stopped mattering. My brain was still locked on one thing. They picked Mara, and if I was being honest with myself, they'd been picking her for years. My mom always treated Mara like she was spun from gold. It started small. I was maybe 7 when I first noticed. Mara would visit from Houston with her mom, and the second she walked through our door, everything changed. My mom would light up like Christmas morning, rushing to hug her, pulling her into the kitchen, telling her how pretty she'd gotten. "She's just so precious," Mom would whisper to my dad like I wasn't even in the room. "Such a sweet girl." Meanwhile, I was in the corner, holding the grocery bag she asked me to bring in. No one said I was precious. Mara had that soft voice people leaned in to hear. She had long lashes, knew how to braid hair, wore little flats with bows. I was taller, awkward, always getting mud on my sneakers. And that was the difference. Mara was delicate. I was durable. She loved makeup. I could change a bike tire with a rusty wrench. She did ballet. I fixed the broken kitchen cabinet when Dad got lazy. But in our family, no one cared if you were useful. They cared if you were pretty and sweet and made them feel important. Mara was a mirror for my mom. How she wished I'd turned out. The older we got, the more obvious it got. At family dinners, people would gush over Mara like she was a damn celebrity. "Oh, Mara got student council again? She's amazing." Meanwhile, I'd mention I was taking AP Physics, and my mom would say, "Don't act like you're smarter than everyone." I started shrinking myself just to make her comfortable. Didn't brag, didn't argue, stayed quiet. Fixed what I could, stayed out of the way. It never mattered. Mara would visit for the weekend, and suddenly I was the background noise in my own house. And then came the college decision. Mara got into a school just 10 miles from us. Not her top pick, but close enough to be near family, as she put it. My mom nearly cried from happiness. "She can live with us while she saves money." "Isn't that smart?" she said one night at dinner, beaming like she'd won something. I looked up from my plate. Where would she sleep? "She can take your room," Mom said, like it was nothing. My fork hit the table. "Excuse me? You're hardly home anymore. You're always on campus or working." "It makes sense," I stared at her. "I live here." She raised an eyebrow. "You're 19, Maria. Most people your age are moving out already." I looked at my dad, thinking he'd say something. He just kept eating, like this was all normal. So I asked the question I already knew the answer to. "Why can't she get her own place?" "She's not a kid. She's family," my mom snapped. "Don't act jealous." "It's embarrassing," I pushed my chair back. "You've been waiting for an excuse to get me out of here, haven't you?" Mom didn't deny it, just said, "You're not easy to live with." That stuck in my chest like a knife. I wasn't easy. I cooked half our meals, cleaned without being asked, took the bus to avoid asking for rides, did everything to keep peace in that house. Mara walked in with her glitter pens and fake humble smile, and suddenly, I was too much. She moved in 3 days later, brought 4 suitcases and a potted plant, and called the guest room hers. It wasn't even subtle. My mom started calling her sweetie, just like she used to call me. Before middle school, before Mara started coming around more often. Once, I came home early and found them baking banana bread together. My mom was laughing like a damn sitcom character. I walked into the kitchen and the energy dropped, like I ruined the vibe just by breathing. That was the night I stopped leaving anything important in my room. Something in my gut told me I wasn't safe in that house anymore. After that night, I barely spoke unless I had to. I kept my stuff in one duffel bag under my bed, ate quick, left early, came home late. If my mom noticed, she didn't care. If Mara noticed, she acted like I didn't exist. But one night, she didn't ignore me. I was walking back from the kitchen, half asleep, when I saw her standing in the hallway near my door. Arms crossed, full face of makeup, like she'd just come from a party. I tried to walk past her. "Maria," she said. I stopped but didn't turn. "What?" "You need to move out." I turned then. "Excuse me?" She tilted her head. "You heard me? This house isn't working with both of us in it." I stared at her. This is my house. I live here. You're the guest she gave me that fake little smile, the one she used on ants when she wanted something. Okay, she said, but I'm just letting you know, I'm feeling really unsafe lately. That word snapped something in my head. Unsafe? She shrugged. I don't know, I just feel uncomfortable sharing space with you. It's kind of tense, don't you think? I stepped closer. Are you threatening me? I'm warning you, she said. If you don't leave on your own, I'll have to say something. And we both know they'll believe me. I stood there, stunned, heart pounding. You're seriously gonna lie like that? She raised both eyebrows. You really want to bet against me? I didn't say anything. I just went back into my room, locked the door, and sat on my bed in the dark. I thought about telling my mom, or my dad, but how the hell do you even start that conversation? Hey, Mara said she's gonna make up some crap about me to get me kicked out. They wouldn't believe me. They'd say I was being dramatic, or jealous, or aggressive, like always. So I kept quiet, told myself she was bluffing. She was always full of it anyway. But 3 days later, I found out exactly how wrong I was. It was late. Around 10:30, I was just about to shower when my mom knocked on my door, firm and fast. We need to talk, she said. I opened the door and saw both of them, my mom and dad, standing like they were delivering bad news from a hospital. What? I asked, towel in hand. We need you to leave, my mom said. Her voice was cold, clipped. Right now, my dad added. I blinked. Wait, what? We talked about this, she said. It's not working. No, you talked. I didn't agree to anything. My dad reached past the doorframe and dropped my duffel bag at my feet. It's packed. I looked at them, then past them. Mara was sitting on the stairs, arms wrapped around her knees like some wounded little kid. She told us what happened, my mom said. We believe her. What did she say happened? I asked. Neither of them answered. Seriously, I said louder this time. What exactly did I do? She doesn't feel safe, my dad said. I laughed. And that's enough to throw me out? Without even asking my side? It's not up for debate, my mom snapped. My hands were shaking. My mouth went dry. I looked at Mara. She didn't flinch. I grabbed the bag and stepped past them. No point arguing with people who'd already made up their minds. You can come back for the rest of your things later, my dad said as I walked toward the door. I didn't respond. I didn't even look back, because in that moment I realized the truth. Mara didn't bluff. She never had to. All she had to do was say something, and they'd choose her every single time. I walked straight to the corner gas station, still barefoot, carrying the same duffel bag my dad shoved at me. The cold concrete tore at my heels with every step, but I didn't stop. Couldn't. They threw me out like I was trash. Not just thrown out, erased. When I got to the gas station, the clerk gave me a weird look. I probably looked insane. Sweaty hair, no shoes, oversized hoodie, shaking. I went straight to the side of the building where the old payphone was still bolted to the wall, one of the last working ones in town. I'd seen it used by delivery drivers and high school kids pranking 911. Tonight, it was mine. I slammed my palm against the metal box until it spit out the dial tone, then punched in 3 numbers. 911, what's your emergency? My parents kicked me out with no warning, I said. I'm barefoot. I have no phone. I have nowhere to go. I'm not a minor, but they won't even give me my stuff. The dispatcher asked for the address. I gave it, clear and sharp. I wasn't crying. Not yet. I was too damn angry. 2 squad cars showed up within 10 minutes. The lights were off, but I recognized the shape of the cars as they pulled up. The officers stepped out, calm but alert. One of them, a younger guy, offered me a blanket from the back of the cruiser. You okay, miss? I nodded, gripping the scratchy fleece. They locked me out. I live here. He nodded toward the house. We'll talk to them. They walked up the driveway and knocked. The porch light flicked on like a scene out of a sitcom. My dad answered, looking completely unbothered. From where I stood, I could hear everything. She doesn't live here anymore, my dad told them. The officer asked why. She was removed for a reason, my mom cut in, stepping beside him. Her voice was low, careful, like she'd rehearsed it. The older officer squinted. Removed by who? You can't evict someone at night without a legal notice. She was making someone in the house uncomfortable, my mom said. We're protecting our family. Uncomfortable how? My mom glanced inside. It was inappropriate. Can you be more specific? My dad shook his head. No, just, she crossed a line I wanted to scream. Instead, I walked up behind the cops. Who exactly did I make uncomfortable? The younger officer turned to me. Let's step back for a sec. No, I said. Let them say it to my face. Right on cue, Mara appeared in the doorway. Hoodie bun, no makeup now. Just that pathetic face she always pulled when she wanted sympathy. The cop looked at her. Ma'am, can you explain what happened? She fidgeted. I don't want to get her in trouble. I don't feel safe around her. That's all. That's not a reason to remove someone from their home, he said. I just felt unsafe, she added. It's hard to explain. Oh, I can explain it, I said, pulling out my backup phone. It was an old cracked one I used for music, but it had something better than Spotify, a recording app. I held it up. You want to hear what she said to me last week? I recorded it. My mom stepped forward. Maria, don't. I clicked play. The hallway confrontation played loud and clear. If you don't leave on your own, I'll have to say something. And we both know they'll believe me. The officers went quiet. Mara's face froze. The younger one turned to her. Is this your voice? She didn't answer. The older cop sighed. You can't just throw someone out based on a vague accusation, especially when there's proof of manipulation. But she's been aggressive, my mom started. Not enough to stop you from keeping her things and refusing her entry, he cut in. The younger one turned to me. Do you want to go inside and grab your belongings? Yeah, I said, starting with my phone. My real one. My dad opened the door but didn't say a word. I walked in, past Mara, and went straight to the living room table where I knew they'd left it. My phone sat right there next to a half-eaten bowl of popcorn and my earbuds, untouched. They hadn't even bothered to hide it. I grabbed it, shoved it in my hoodie pocket, and turned to the officers. You need anything else from me? The older one shook his head. No. You're well within your rights to be here. They can't just kick you out without proper notice, paperwork, or cause. Especially not with that recording. Mara slinked back toward the stairs. My mom stood frozen, lips pressed tight. My dad looked at the wall like it was more interesting than the whole situation. I wasn't planning on staying, but I wasn't leaving on their terms anymore. Mara sat on the bottom stair, scrolling on her phone like none of this touched her. She didn't argue, didn't cry, didn't explain a damn thing. She just tapped the Uber app like she was ordering takeout. I stood in the hallway, arms crossed, watching her. The officers stepped outside to give us privacy. My mom stayed frozen in the kitchen. My dad leaned on the wall near the front door like someone waiting for a package. Not one person asked Mara why she did it. No one tried to defend her. No speeches, no fake tears. Just silence. She finally stood up and grabbed her purse. Her keys were still clipped to the outside like she really thought she'd stay here long term. She looked at me for half a second, no apology, no shame, and said, Well, I guess this is what you wanted. I didn't even flinch. No, I wanted the truth to matter. Big difference. She opened her mouth like she might say something else, but she didn't. She turned back toward the door, stepped out onto the porch, and didn't look back. A black car rolled up, lights off, engine idling. She got in, shut the door, and that was it. She was gone. I walked into the living room and stood by the couch. The TV was still paused on some true crime show they'd been watching earlier. Like this whole thing was just a commercial break. Neither of them looked at me. Where's my other bag? I asked. My mom pointed toward the hallway without saying a word. I walked back to my old room, Mara's new room, and found my second duffel on the bed. It still smelled like her floral body spray. My old blanket was balled up in the corner, like trash. I packed fast. Just essentials, clothes, chargers, headphones, a few books. Left behind anything I didn't care to ever see again. As I zipped the bag, I heard my dad's voice from the hallway. You can stay, you know. I didn't answer right away. I picked up the bag, slung it over my shoulder, and walked out of the room. He was standing there, hands in his pockets. Not angry, not sorry. Just blank. You don't have to leave, he said again. I looked at him, really looked at him. He was the same man who used to carry me on his shoulders at the fair, same man who taught me to change a tire. And now he was just standing there like none of that happened. You already made your choice, I said. He didn't argue, just stepped aside and let me pass. My mom was still in the kitchen, arms tight across her chest like she was holding herself together. I didn't bother saying goodbye. I opened the front door, stepped outside, and closed it behind me. Not hard, not loud, just done. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was the one in control. I didn't even have to call Danny. I just texted her, "Can I crash?" Long story. She answered in 30 seconds. Doors open. I got pizza. Her apartment was 5 blocks from campus. I walked there with both duffels digging into my shoulders and the cold biting through my hoodie. But as soon as I stepped inside, it hit me. Warmth, garlic, soft music playing low from her Bluetooth speaker. And the couch. God, that couch. It looked like heaven. Danny came out of the kitchen holding a paper plate stacked with 2 greasy slices. She didn't ask questions, just nodded toward the couch. Eat, shower, sleep. Talk later. I sat down, dropped my bags, and took a bite of pepperoni like I hadn't eaten in days. Honestly, I hadn't. Not properly. I didn't cry. Not that night. I just ate, showered, and passed out wrapped in a throw blanket that smelled like fabric softener and weed. I don't even remember falling asleep. By the next morning, I was already making moves. I posted in a campus housing group, female student looking for short-term room, quiet, respectful, good with bills. I got 4 replies before lunch. By dinner, I toured a place with 2 grad students who just wanted rent paid on time and no drama. I said yes on the spot. Danny helped me move in the next day. No lecture, no pity. Just her usual, "You good?" and a bag of frozen waffles she insisted I take. Once I was settled, I hit the tutoring board and picked up 3 freshmen who needed help with biology and chemistry. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid. I used the school library as my office and learned how to stretch a meal across 2 days. I was broke, but I was free. The text from my parents started a few days later. My mom first. "Are you safe? Please respond. Do you need money?" Then, a shift. "Can you stop by and help your dad with the internet?" "Your cousin Lily needs a ride to her dental appointment." I didn't reply to any of them. I wasn't being petty. I just couldn't. Not yet. Not when the smoke was still clearing. Not when I was finally figuring out what it felt like to wake up in a space that didn't make me tense the second I opened my eyes. I made my little corner in that shared apartment feel like mine. Just a twin bed, a milk crate bookshelf, and a mini coffee maker I found at a thrift store. That was all I needed. Nobody told me I was too loud. Nobody rolled their eyes when I spoke. Nobody replaced me. I was tired, yes, always running between tutoring, studying, and budgeting groceries down to the last cent. But every time I came home to my own key and my own peace, it felt worth it. I didn't miss home. I missed the version of me that thought it was ever safe to call it that. I was sitting in the library, half focused on tutoring notes, when I saw the name pop up in a random cousin's Instagram story. Some people in this family got too comfortable with their own cousins. Yikes, no names, no details. Just vague enough to pass off as a joke, but I knew exactly what it was about. I clicked through and saw the same post shared by 2 more relatives, one in Austin, one in Arizona, both from my dad's side. By the end of the day, I had 7 DMs from extended family I hadn't heard from in years, all fake concerned, all nosy. "Hey, just checking in. Everything okay? Are you and Mara good now? Your mom said there was a situation but didn't explain." I didn't reply to any of them. I stared at those messages for hours before opening the big one. The family group chat, 27 members, full of holiday photos, birthday memes, and fake-ass support whenever someone's kid made the honor roll. And now, apparently, a hotbed for behind-my-back gossip. So I typed, "Since the whole family seems to be talking about what happened between me and Mara, here's the truth." I stared at the blinking cursor for a second, heart racing, then kept going. She threatened to lie about me. I recorded it. She lied anyway. My parents kicked me out based on her lie. I played the audio for the police. She moved out that night. I hit send. Then added one more. "I'm not sharing the recording, but I still have it." And then I muted the chat. No one responded. Not one of them. Not my mom. Not my dad. Not Mara. Not Aunt Laura, who used to call me Mija like I was her own. Silence. I thought maybe someone would text me privately, try to smooth it over, pretend they were just confused. Nothing. 3 days later, Danny forwarded me a tweet from someone local. "Anyone know why the girl from South Lake suddenly dropped out of school and moved to Houston mid-semester?" The attached photo was Mara, hair straightened, lips pursed like she was still trying to look innocent even on the way out. I asked around and found out she moved back in with her mom. She told people it was all a huge misunderstanding and that things got blown out of proportion. Misunderstanding my ass. I didn't post anything else, didn't chase people down to defend me. That wasn't the point. They'd heard enough. The messages from my parents slowed to a trickle after that. I think they realized the golden girl wasn't coming back. No more Mayra baking banana bread in the kitchen. No more fake giggles during church family photos. No more distractions to cover up how empty the house really was when the favorite left and the one they threw out didn't come crawling back. I pictured my mom sitting at the kitchen table alone, scrolling through her phone, wondering why no one had liked her last group selfie. I pictured my dad fumbling with the Wi-Fi again, wishing someone would come over and fix it. And I felt nothing. No guilt. No regret. No curiosity. They made their choices. I just finally told the truth. And in that moment, that was enough for me. A week after the group chat bomb, my dad texted me, "Your mom made enchiladas. Want to come by for dinner?" No apology. No context. Just like we were some happy family catching up on a Tuesday. I didn't answer. It wasn't about being cold. It was about peace. My whole life, I was the fixer. The one who patched holes in walls, fixed the leaking sink, filled in the gaps no one saw or cared to thank me for. My reward was getting compared to Mara every time I didn't smile the right way or said something that made my mom shift uncomfortably in her seat. "Why can't you dress like her? She always knows how to talk to people. Be more like Mara." It's not that hard. I spent years thinking maybe I was hard, that if I just worked harder, stayed quieter, stayed useful, I'd be easier to love. But now I woke up in a room I paid for, with a lock only I had the key to, my name on the lease, my own grocery list on the fridge, my shoes by the door, my rules. I ate cheap microwave meals and kept instant coffee in a mug on my desk. I worked my ass off tutoring kids who barely knew what mitochondria did, but they paid me and they respected me. That was more than I ever got from my own family. And I had friends now, real ones. Danny, who handed me pizza without a single question. Jenna, who split Wi-Fi costs and didn't care if I stayed up late studying on the couch. People who didn't expect me to play the good daughter just to keep their world spinning. My mom sent another message a few days later. "Heard from Tia Elena that you're doing well. I've been rethinking a lot." I read it twice. Then turned off notifications for both her and my dad. She could rethink all she wanted. That was her problem. I didn't need to hear her process her guilt out loud. I didn't need her trying to rewrite the story to make herself look more human. What I needed was space, silence, distance, and for once, I wasn't the one holding the family together. That job was vacant now. I walked home that night from a long tutoring session, earbuds in, hoodie up, my feet sore but my mind steady. No more walking on eggshells. No more looking over my shoulder in my own house. No more fixing anything for anyone who'd let me break before lifting a finger to help. The sky was already dark when I got back to the apartment. Streetlights flickered, the sidewalk smelled like leftover rain, and someone was blasting music 2 floors up. I didn't care. I unlocked the door, stepped into my little room, and kicked my shoes off like I owned the whole world. And honestly, in that moment, I kind of did. My phone buzzed again, another text from my mom. I didn't open it, just swiped it away like junk mail. I didn't hate her, not even close. But I wasn't going to hand her the version of me she could live with. Not anymore. If I ever talk to them again, and I mean if, it'll be on my terms. Not because they're ready, because I am. Silence wasn't me trying to punish anyone. It was me giving myself room to heal without the noise, without the guilt, without the constant second-guessing. I stopped waiting for them to understand, stopped hoping they'd call and say, "You were right. We messed up." That's not coming, and I don't need it. What I have now isn't perfect. My socks don't match half the time, and the fridge smells like expired takeout. But it's mine. Every part of this life is mine. Earned, fought for, rebuilt from scratch. There's peace in that. I still hear things through the grapevine. My mom's been rethinking a lot. My dad's not the same. Mara's still pretending it was all a big misunderstanding. Let them. That's their story to sit in. I've got my own now. So here's my question. Did I make the right call walking away? Or was silence the wrong answer? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you've ever had to cut someone off to breathe again, hit that like button and subscribe.